So this was an article I'm sure many of you read last week. I need to read this because I really want people to be clear. Forgive my taking the time to do this, but this is important information. You all need to be aware of this. So this is an article written by Rem. FINTRAC has imposed nearly $150,000 penalty on Century 21 Heritage Group following a compliance review, a decision. The brokerage says it is appealing. Now, I brought this. I knew about this actually back in the summer. This was, and so I knew about this. I presented this in the fall meetings, both in the north and the south, just like, hey, this is coming. And it was kind of that really triggered like, hey, we need to really make the FinTracker software. We need to roll this out. We need to be doing some risk assessments here. We need to be going above and beyond because the storm is coming. And the presentation I'll go through that Christina has done, it really showcases how things have changed in the last few years, how FinTrack is coming after brokerages in a big way. But I'll continue reading here. The real estate brokerage, which has several offices in Ontario, including Thornhill, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, Hamilton, Kingston, was flagged for not filing suspicious transaction report in a situation where there was reasonable grounds to suspect the activity could be linked to money laundering or terrorist financing. The penalty was issued as part of FinTrack's efforts to ensure businesses in the real estate sector follow Canada anti-money laundering rules. It goes on to say, as far as Aaron's reflections, as he says, the brokerage compliance framework includes a FinTrack course included in training. One of the things I really admire about Aaron, he does such an incredible job in training. He was one of the key factors, I should say, cheerleaders for our Excel platform, the education self-paced education system that has been rolled out for Century 21 Canada. So he's always someone that I look to, hey, let's sounding board from a training standpoint. So he's always done great, but he says there's you can do all the training you want if you don't have the right systems really controlling the boundaries for agents and your brokers. This is where we got caught. We had all the training in the world, Trevor, but we didn't have the right systems to enforce protection to our agents. So he did say any compliance system is only as strong as the information that is entered into it. In this case, Aaron claims that the agent did not provide complete and accurate information on the client. FinTech legislation requires agents to fill out client identification form for every client whom they conduct a financial transaction for. The requirements are meant to make it more difficult for persons involved in the money laundering or terrorist operations to use real estate as a shelter or a front for the proceeds of crime. There is no intent alleged, but the absence of a complete information limited the ability to assess the document risk appropriately. Aaron mentioned to me there was 4 or 5 questions the agent just outright did not answer correctly, and very basic questions, but they were I quickly identified as incorrect. Um, Heavy responsibility placed on the brokerage, and Todd is really weighing in on this. I spoke to Todd yesterday about something else, but he's the vice president at Century 21 Canada. He's stating, of course, hey, this is a little bit overwhelming what we're seeing the responsibility for brokerages, and there is lobbying that is taking place right now. But that lobbying is really a reaction from these fines that are already in motion, that is already taking place. So FinTrack obligations require real estate brokers to do more than they can realistically do within the law. Brokerages don't have the authority to review bank records or authenticate foreign entities, so brokerages rely on individual agents to enter information in a complete, timely manner. And this is really the key that, as we look to roll out, we're here to protect not just your clients and to follow the law. We're here to protect you, but more important, like we're here to protect the brokerage. That $150,000 fine, I got to tell you, the very sincere words I had with Aaron, like this is ridiculous amount of money. This will hurt us. That will hurt any brokerage, and it's significant. And of course, within our systems and our contracts with our agents, any sort of fine like that is shared. to the agent themselves. So this doesn't just hurt us; it hurts you as well. So it goes on to say, of course, there are many other brokerages that have been affected just in the month of November. Three significant fines in Canada: 117,000, 36,000, 150,000. Again, those are just in the month of November. Um, this is and again,
And
it feels like,
Trevor, it with Aaron, didn't you say that it had actually started out at a $500,000
yeah,
fine and they got it
absolutely.
brought down to 150? I
Yeah,
mean, like, that's
absolutely.
insane.
And the frustrating part, it started at 500,000. The agent was a newer agent. So it just was, I would actually say it was more on the, I don't want to say laziness or the ignorant side for the agent. There wasn't anything malicious going on. we just we have this heavy responsibility as real estate professionals. If anybody pushes back on you in the industry, is like, well, what do real estate agents actually do? Oh gosh, now it's really look at the liabilities that we're being forced onto. I did want to. This is a wonderful review that Aaron did. I won't read through everything, but I'll summarize each kind of section there. This was their first audit, and Aaron just basically put this communication out there. It's funny how the interpretation, the headline, 150,000 audit, like boo the real estate company, boo the real estate agent. Hold on, details matter and context matters. So he does a really nice job just explaining the position of the brokerage and what took place here. But it was their first audit. Um, and they had been doing a lot of education, as I said, and communication to their agents on the importance of this. This was as I can kind of try to highlight it for you. Random reviews alone are no longer sufficient. Compliance oversight must be risk-based, proactive, responsive, and emerging indicators within the transaction. It's funny. I've been chatting for the last week with agents throughout the offices, and the kind of common question, which again, it's a reflection of your professionalism. It's like, oh gosh, am I doing everything right? And then even watching an agent yesterday kind of review the last few FINTRAC forms. I love that. That's great. We have to really pay attention to these pieces of paperwork and these forms. This is not a nice to. This is not, oh, do I need to know, Trevor? Click, 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 click. No. No, 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 no. These are high stakes. This is big responsibility. This is no joke. And I'm not trying to freak anybody out, but I'm freaked out with the amount of fines that are being thrown out right now in the industry. We are absolutely taking this very seriously, as you should as well too. Um, so again, I just kind of review back. This is a wonderful kind of review that Aaron has done. Their compliance framework does include courses that they are doing, and I've seen those courses. They are incredible. They are all laid out in the Excel platform there. They do require mandatory FinTracker, which they believe is best in class. Of course, there's another platform which is pretty good I heard about as well, but FinTracker seems to be the leading platform. And then ongoing education and escalation pathways for the agent if there is a suspicious transaction that's taking place. And as he says, however, one of the clearest lessons from the audit is the simple truth: any compliance system is only as strong as the information that is entered into it. And in the case the agent did not provide complete and accurate information required to properly know the client, the agent no longer works at the brokers, as I stated. Again, this is our responsibility. The brokerage holds the liability. As your broker of record, I hold that liability. I decide what kind of, and Joanne in the past has decided what kind of infrastructure education that we're demanding for ourselves to give to our agents, but as well of our standard, our bar that we're setting. I don't want to get fined like that. And we're you're going to see we're actually investing into. We started doing this back in the fall, and we're rolling this out now. We've started rolling it out with FinTracker, but doing a risk assessment self audit on our own systems to ensure that if there is an audit, they come to us and say, Trevor, have you done your own risk assessment audit, and please let us review that. Yep, here's what it is. Here's what we found. Here are the mistakes we found within our systems. Here's what we did. Okay, we see a level of introspection and a desire to improve on the systems. Hopefully, it's one of those four fines that if Heritage got, that's not something we're going to get caught with. But there is there is a move to protect ourselves. So, what did the audit? What the audit was and what it was not. First and foremost, it was. It is important to be clear what it was about that occurred here. So, the timing and the assessment of the suspicious transaction, what was reported, ultimately it was submitted, but it wasn't done in a timely manner that I know that the FinTrack folks were like, "Hey, this should have been done a lot sooner." I don't have the details of why that was and what happened there. Ultimately, there was no crime committed on the part of the client, and no findings of money laundering or terrorist activity were found as well. They have, of course, appealed, and they'll go through that process there. They believe the monetary penalty imposed does not appropriately reflect the circumstances of the transaction. Whether that's an opinion, I think I would agree to that naturally as well too. Um, this is bigger than just one brokerage. So, in his experience, this should not be viewed in isolation. It has highlighted a broader issue facing the real estate industry. Compliance expectations are evolving, risk tolerance is narrowing. Brokerages are expected to make judgment calls with limited standardized guidance. And this creates a responsibility not just for brokerages and agents, but for the industry as a whole. And they believe that this is an opportunity for greater collaboration between brokerages, transparency through the audit process there, and to get that feedback from boards associations. So anyway, so this is um, a great kind of review that Aaron did do. I'm going to take a little break there, so we're not looking at that screen. Hi, everybody. Um, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page with what we're doing, what we're seeing in the industry. We have now a new process that we're going to be rolling out. There is going to be an additional charge that we are taking on. I think we mentioned this in the fall markets. I think we were considering taking half of that expense and covering that. I think in discussions with the ownership, we've agreed actually we're going to be taking up two-thirds of that expense on ourselves as the brokerage, but we're going to be sharing that with the agents. So get ready. Your costs are increasing, but I don't think we have a choice, frankly, at this point. But it'll be modest, and we'll don't get freaked out. Between Christina and Shazad, they've really kind of like spearheaded rolling out a system that makes sense. That's absolutely
Now,
right.
Trevor, I do want to comment. We have had an audit,
Yeah.
which Shazad handled very nicely for us. But that is one of the areas that we were we did well in our audit was our internal education of our agents, because we've had Cassandra Walker, who's very, recognized within OREA as an excellent trainer. And she's done our mandatory training for us, for years now. So that really helped us. And the fact that we had documented and the fact that we had made it mandatory, and whether you showed up, you still had to cue in that you had listened to her presentation afterwards. And we kept all those records. So that really, on a brokerage level, that really helped us. And of course, as many of you have experienced over the years, if you don't have your paperwork filled out, you're not getting your check.
Yeah.
So that little caveat sure helped us as well. But they have taken it to a whole new level now of compliance. So we've got to take the protection of you to a new level as well.
Yeah. And I think that audit was about a year and a half ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
That audit took place, and it was,
yeah,
as we're talking about, things are changing. Things are absolutely changing. What worked 2 years ago with our audits and our training that we did, just not going to be tall enough for this new standard that we've got coming through. So
they've increased the level of monitoring. They're putting a lot of onus on us as brokers and realtors to manage and monitor our clients. Um, some of the stuff that we are getting um, told, it's almost impossible for an individual agent and even a brokerage to do it unless we participate in some level of software automation that can do the monitoring for us. We used to do some monitoring, but the level they require now, it's just completely taken to another standard.
So I'm going to walk through just the slide deck that I know Christina put great effort into. Christina, if I uploaded the wrong or I needed, I think I did need a new slide there on that first. There was a spelling error. That's not Christina's fault. That's mine. But yeah, if there's anything, Christina, feel free to jump in, of course. But I just want to on our first slide here, just reinforcement trend for over the last 5 years. Enforcement is accelerating across the real estate sector. Penalties since 2021. 24 real estate penalties issued across Canada. That's for this year, or sorry, for last year, 2025. Total fines exceeding 2.6 million. Enforcement activity, 23 notices of violation, highest on record, 32 disclosures to law enforcements, over 200% increase from 22 and 23. Recent 2025 real estate fines, individual brokerages fines ranging from 23,000 up to 150,000, combined penalties over 368. So it's here, it's significant, and this great chart Christina putting together, just in the last 3 years, you can see the trend for FINTRAC enforcement that is definitely increasing. They are hyper aware, and they are going after money laundering and these activities, and the
And
brokerages.
and one thing is that keep in mind that this is all backlogged. So these
Yeah.
aren't cases that were just picked up last year and completed. Uh, Apparent, from rumors, and there are hundreds that still haven't even gone through all the steps yet. So the numbers will be much higher because it could take, up to a couple of years to get to where, Aaron got to. So, these are just kind of what's been trickling in over the last few years. So definitely, those trends will be going upwards.
Important exposed public servants there. We'll go through it. There's a different definition to that acronym. We'll go through that. But these are, of course, are the fines that are being pushed out these days that are making the headlines. Why this matters to our agents and what's it designed? We're designing this, of course, to protect our agents, what we're rolling out to you, ensuring that all files are audit ready. So as Christina said, like, the ones that you're seeing there are years in the making. We had a year and a half ago. We were in good shape at that point. I anticipate we will be getting one this year. It's kind of rumored like, hey, they're coming, they're coming, they're coming. So we're getting ready. So we want to make sure we're audit ready on all of our files. We want to create a consistent, standardized compliance process. We want to stand up, loud, proud, and ready to take that audit with, because we got nothing to hide. We're not criminals. We're not doing anything wrong. Even if we do come across someone who is nefarious or there is a problem, we'll be doing the correct thing. So absolutely, there's no fear, there's no timidness, there's no nerves. We only get nervous and timid when we're unprepared. We are going to be getting prepared. That's the whole message here. So we're here to reduce the risk for the agents, our clients, and of course the brokerage. FINTRAC compliance is a legal requirement and cannot be opted out of. Your personal responsibility, identifying a verification, that is obviously the main foundation there. The beneficial ownership determination. PEP, what does PEP stand for, Christina? It's a political person, high profile political person.
Can I just jump in there for a second?
Yes, Chris. Yes, please.
So other people that are considered politically exposed persons are like if your brother is like a minister or works for the ministry or is an MP or something like that, that's there you're a politically exposed person, even if you're not directly involved. I had a client that is a VP for one of the casinos down in Windsor or something like that. He's considered a politically exposed person. So the definitions are fairly broad. So just something to keep in mind.
Um, just to review signs of money laundering, I think this is a question Tim was asking. Um, what to look for if there's any sort of nefarious activity, large cash payments, of course, we know that, purchase far above or below the market value. Um, this is popping up in questions I do get from agents. I'll leave it at that. So that is something definitely that does pop up. Unusually complex financing arrangements. Um, Not going to go into the details of it, but one of our agents in the Collingwood office, there would have been a suspicious transaction filed in a property she sold in December and then put back on the market again to resell again in January successfully. But that first one would have been a suspicious individual because of the complex financing that they had to jump through, which everybody was like, "What is going on here?" Suspicious. Multiple transactions in a short period of time is an example. Use of multiple intermediaries, whatever that word is, or anonymous companies. Um, Frequent changes in ownership within a short period of time. I see something out of the ordinary. To your point, like, hey, this isn't normal. Let me ask about this. Is it a reasonable? How are they reacting? Um, and if there is any suspicion, you know what, this might be a flag to raise it as a suspicious transaction. The
Yeah,
one that
I'll also just say one, like, just like, again, from a credit standpoint, something that we're taught is that, like if you ask the question and people start getting defensive, that's also,
yeah,
like the way they answer that question can be important too.
yeah,
Yeah,
I,
there's a
I
difference between being guarded with personal information and invasive. Um, and you can usually tell what kind of answer you're getting from them at that point.
where you do see a little bit of reluctance is like understanding where those funds came from, and did it come from mom and dad? Is it a gift? Chris, you probably run into this one quite a bit. The source, is it a brother? Is it a friend? Okay, what if it's a friend? Why is that friend giving you $50,000? Like, what is going on there with that? It's one thing for it to be a parent or a sibling, and it's another thing a friend. We got to watch for stuff like that. That would be like a really uh, yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
want to say innocent, but a scenario is like, oh, I didn't catch that. I didn't think there was a problem with that. And even the client maybe didn't flag that as a problem either as well too. But hey, this is the information that FinTrack is requiring, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, so, like, typically, like, as you can imagine, like, I don't have any friends that I would just give $50,000 to. So, so
Chris, I would give you some money. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. You came asking.
I'm planning on passing the hat around at the potluck on the tomorrow. But no, like, so you want to watch out for things like that. Like even things like, I'm getting money from my aunt or from my cousin or whatever. Like those are like they're not immediate family, so it raises the question. So you might want to. So I like if it was an aunt, I would say, "Hey, wow, that's a nice aunt. How come she's giving you, how come she's giving you so much money?" And they might say, "Well, you know what, she's elderly, she has no kids, so like it makes sense." And even if they're lying to you, like like you're not supposed to be the FBI, but if it's something out of the ordinary, like it's not like document it, right? So like at least you've asked the question and you've gotten a reasonable answer. So I think the effort counts. That you've taken the step of saying, okay, like I've asked the question, I've gotten a reasonable answer, and we can move on, right?
Urgent request to close without proper documentation, guys. That one hurdles between potential money laundering and fraudulent, if not both at the same time. these are concerns that we are very aware within that we come across. So remote ID verification process. This is something Sandra was just kind of asking about. So this is required for certain transactions via the Fintracker app. 5 free remote ID scans per agent. That's a board benefit. Thank you, board. And if for any additional time you want to, again, if you're not in the town that person is with, or it's a remote thing that's happening, I'm not driving across to verify the information. You can do that for $2.99 per scan, I guess there, and that's paid and purchased in the app. I think I was chatting with Joe Lorero last week about using that as well too. Unused scans do not roll over. In-person verification remains unchanged and free, of course. So if you don't want to spend that $2.99, spend the $20 to drive out to their farm to verify. Okay. Benefits to the automation in AML compliance, increased efficiency and accuracy, as we discussed, reduced risk of human error, automated sanctions for those important politically exposed individuals, and media screening required, improved detection of suspicious activity or any red flags that are coming through, which is valuable, stronger record keeping and audit trails, streamlining timely regulatory reporting by leveraging automation as real estate agents, reduce compliance risks, saving time, and ensuring audit-ready files every time.
We do have this 5-year obligation where we have to have monitoring oversight on your clients, and this is what the AML platform does. We're not tracking your client, so to speak, and no one's going into their personal business and keeping records. It's when the system flags on activity. So even though we have to monitor them for 5 years, if there's no activity, no one's going into their personal business, but it will pick up any anomalies on, more transactions, how they're moving, how they're shaking. So just wanted to let you know that there is a requirement for 5 years that we do have to monitor all of our clients for that period.
And that really is where the exposure feels like we are sometimes, because at times we're in our business, we're doing a transaction, we're right engaged with that client, and then we should be staying in touch with our clients through our marketing efforts, but sometimes we're not. And this is a real exposure for us. So big value with that AML service. Guys, we are taking from a brokerage standpoint, I won't go into the details, but we are double what we are charging. So for each agent, we are asking for you to be paying the $40 per agent. This will be charged on your monthly bill for the month of March. It's one time each year. The brokerage per agent, Christina, we're like just over $80 per agent that we're covering, I believe is what our cost is that we're covering.
Yes, you're right. That's not that's the 2/3.
Yeah, so we're covering 2/3. We're asking you to pick up the 1/3 there. And this is, again, we understand the brokerage's responsibility, but each one of us are responsible. This is an expense we all need to kind of be participating in as well too. So that covers it for the year, and again, covers the 5-year obligation for AML monitoring and client oversight. No per transaction or per file brokerage fees, and this cost, as I said, is heavily subsidized by Century 21 Millennium and intended to keep compliance simple, predictable, and affordable. This together in that way. So what's next? Training materials and step-by-step videos are going to be provided. We're here to kind of support, although we are rolling this out as well too. So this is something, look forward, that we're all going to be kind of upping our game as far as this. This is our first discussion on this platform and what we're doing here. It won't be the last. This is obviously very important. We have a great responsibility in the industry of real estate as a brokerage and as agents. This responsibility is obviously being heightened with accountability through FINTRAC and through with these fines. So if you kind of suspect like, wow, this is a different tone in which the brokerage is kind of facing this at this point, Yeah, when we start seeing these fines being thrown out this way, this aggressively, and again, we started seeing this last year. This is, when I was in the September meeting with the other broker owners for the day, this was probably half the conversation. And this is why it was an immediate, we need to bring this up. And we brought it up right away with our agents in our fall meeting. And it takes time to kind of roll this out as far as the process goes, but we'll get there. We're going to be protected. One thing I can say, as far as Joanne's standards within these sorts of audits, any RICO audits, um, we don't just pass, we pass with flying colors. And if it looks like we're being a little extra, okay, I'll be extra because I want to make sure that we are always protected. And something like some of these fines, I was, yeah, again, these are rumors. One of the fines that are being kind of thrown out that are being proposed is now kind of reaching just under the seven-figure fine area there. That'll put a business out, guys. Let's just be really clear on that. That'll put a brokerage out at kind of seven, when you're hitting seven figures. And that's a ridiculous exposure. I don't doubt there will be continued lobbying to ensure that this is, that's a heavy weight to put on a brokerage and to the agents. For now, we're going to react and we're going to do what's expected of us. And this is that process to do that. $40 per year. I know everybody is watching every single dollar right now, but this is something that I don't think it's an option. I think it's going to be the new norm kind of going forward with this one. So yeah, um, that was our meeting today. Fun stuff to share with you this Wisdom Wednesday. Kind of get yourselves reset. This isn't doom and gloom. This is like, okay, this is my job. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to protect myself and other people, and this is serious stuff. So next time someone wants to grind you down from your percentage of your commission, you got to think back to what's on the line here. What are the stakes that I have on me here? And it's never just one item. There's several there as well too. So stay focused on your business, on your relationships. As I shared last week, I feel like I'm doing a lot of driving these days, which I really enjoy doing, connecting with agents in different regions there. In each of our offices, we have amazing, incredible support staff, managers there to answer your questions day to day. Tio, I know you're doing great things up in the Orangeville office with your masterminds following Wisdom Wednesdays, which I think we're cutting into, and Christina down here just being an incredible authority and navigating us through these processes here, along with Shazad in the Brampton office. Nikki Weber, as you're transitioning, we're going to get you all caught up with the systems and the processes here. So we've got, and then of course Sandy in the Collingwood, Wasaga, and Thornbury office, just our rock star up there as well too. We got all these amazing rock stars and support, and this is our job. Our job is here to support you, help you get those deals done, and protect you through that process. So we're in it together. And this is our business, and we love it. We absolutely love it. Yeah, there's risks. Yeah, there's exposures. Yeah, there's a lot of work. Oh my God, the paperwork, the paperwork, the paperwork. This is running a business, guys. This is what you signed up for when you were a little kid and you thought one day I'm going to make millions of dollars selling real estate. This is what you signed up for. So let's we take the good and the bad in every avenue in our lives, especially within this great responsibility and putting roofs over people's heads. This is an honor in what we're doing, and the government thinks so as well too. And we're making sure we're holding the integrity of what this profession means to the highest regard. So, yeah, let's have fun this week. We'll stay tuned for next week, but I'm loving where we're going in our business and really being attentive to everything we need to do with each one of you. So, guys, thanks so much for that long-winded wrap up, and we will see you guys all next week, I am sure. Take care.